Welcome to Let's Talk Short Track, episode 6, and that's myself and my host, Erin Wilcoxon, which she's the new host for our show. Pretty excited about that. We fired Alex. Actually, he's our producer. So today we got Cameron Goldsworthy coming on. But right away, we're going to talk about Erin. I want Erin to introduce herself to our followers and fans and the people that we talk to. So, Erin, I've known you for a long time. So me and you go way back to when, I don't even know what year it was, but you were probably about 15 years old, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
Working at New Smyrna Speedway. I was there running a Governor's Cup race and about tried to kill myself. So I dealt with you a lot of the I think more of the office stuff a little bit and what we were doing, and you were there with your family working the track and whatnot. But I would just want to let the guests know who you are, what you come from, what's your past in racing, where you started, all that, and then moving forward. And I'm excited about doing this. Me and you talked about this for a while anyway, about you being doing this with us, and I'm just going to say you're the host, I'm the co-host, because after a while she's a lot more organized than I am. So, well, Erin, so a little bit, tell us where you got started and where you're from, and soon to be Neary.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
about a year from now.
A year from now, you're going to be tying the knot, and so your OnlyFans page will shut down. Then is that probably what's going to happen?
That was never a thing. But yeah, so I am born and raised in Daytona, and I was out at New Smyrna Speedway for pretty much a majority of my life. Really got involved when I was probably about 14 or 15 out there. I started with doing just the pictures in Victory Lane, and that grew into me doing some interviewing, and I did do a little bit of announcing out there. However, the race cars overshadow a woman's voice, so it's very hard to be heard on the PA systems as a female. So I got involved in different ways within racing, and now my parents do the tires out at New Smyrna Speedway, so I'm still pretty involved out there. However, with being with Nick, I am now part of the team here and getting to do a lot of traveling with you guys, and I'm just excited about everything that Grant is doing here, and I can't wait to see it continue to grow.
Yeah, no, just being a new race team, we talk about it all the time. And, you know, when we got down here, you're the one that helped me get my house find our house, and now we'll be in the middle of buying a house. You'll be helping me with that too. But no, I said the one thing with family down here, we look at you and Nick like family to us down here, what we're trying to get done. So a lot of I mean, obviously your parents were a big part of New Smyrna Speedway. I remember me and you were talking about they had the service garage over in towards Edgewater, and then you lived in the fly-in your whole life. So now you're on this side, like in the Sarasota area with Nick, and yeah. So sorry guys, she's not single, So that's, but the short track world, you're so intuitive of what we're doing here, and like I said, just in the racing, I could see it's in your heart. You love doing it, and your story, like, just this is what you do, right? Even part of your marketing stuff you do on the side, or I shouldn't say on the side, kind of your career, what you do for a living.
Yeah, so I started my own marketing business. I guess it's been about 3.5 years ago now. And it was I had started it thinking maybe I'll do a lot within racing, but I also decided racing's a passion of mine, and I don't 100% want it to be my whole job. I want to be able to
Right.
escape to racing. So I do have a few racing clients, but I do primarily focus in on helping small business owners market their businesses and grow online. But I did, of course, have to name my business within the racing realm of Victory Digital Marketing. So it's definitely a part of me. And even though I don't want it to be my full main focus in marketing, I do enjoy the clients that I have within the racing world.
You're as going to be a racer's wife or that type thing. It's funny that you fell right into that, right? We always say there's track girls. Track girls they're hard to find, because for a racer to find a track girl is for a racer, it's a good thing because they get it, right? We're a circus act. We're going to the trapeze, we're the trapeze artist, whatever it is. Your hobby, other than racing, do you have anything that you enjoy doing other than racing it?
It's hard to find things other than racing that I enjoy. I do enjoy like photography, but I'd say some of my favorite things to take pictures of are race cars. So
That a girl.
pretty much everything is within racing. I do like to, when I'm not at the racetrack, I do enjoy typical Florida girl answer, going to the beach, going to the pool, shopping.
That's what my wife turned into, beach girl.
It's fun, it's relaxing. I do like to get a good tan, so that's what I do. But I guess I'm not at the racetrack, but you get a good tan at the racetrack.
We're going to be getting some tans in the next couple of weeks. It's supposed to be like 90 degrees by the weekend.
Yeah.
It's going to be, I said I got my friends and family back in Wisconsin, and so they just told me, it snowed another 4 inches, and I'm like, I don't even have the heart to tell them. Yeah, it was 85 degrees the last couple of days. And
we were at the beach this weekend.
Yeah, we went to the beach. Yeah, I don't want to tell them that, but I actually laid on the beach. It was really nice. So I'm excited about doing this with you because, like I said, me and you have been friends pretty much since July. We've been talking a lot, with everything that we've been going on, and your fiance Nick is one of Kendrick's teammates, and I love working with Nick here in the shop. So yeah, we're gonna have Cameron on, and this is gonna be a good time. But so from here on in, folks, Erin's gonna be our host. I'll be the co-host because I'm not much of a host. But so this will be a good time. But Cameron was fun to talk to a little bit when we did our getting our pre-talk and everything, and he's going to be great. And I can't wait for you folks. Cameron's kind of been pretty much. He was a tire guy, a racer. He's been in the race world.
He's seen all aspects.
Yeah,
of it.
and he's fun. He sounds fun.
Perspective, because he knows so many different things, so many different people. It was really cool hearing some of his stories, and all the people he knows and all the experiences he's had within racing.
Yeah. So it'll be great having him on. And then actually other things is, have you ever wanted to be a racer yourself?
No, I haven't. My dad always wanted one, because my dad did used to race before I was born, so I never got to see it. But he always wanted to have a little racer, and my brother wants nothing to do with racing. So he tried to get me into it, and I don't like the helmets. I feel claustrophobic.
That's why I got to wear the headset. She won't let me wear the headset. She's all because I'm an 80s child and I got the headset and she gets the earbuds. But
Yeah, I don't like things on my head. So I've never had the interest. And I think also being raised by my father too, he scared me in racing. Anytime I go karting with him, you get run off. And I think that's any racer.
it's
You're
funny that you're the
go-karting.
one that kind of follows it though, right? With your family, is your brother? He's just off in that.
He
It's
has
weird because
nothing to do with it.
Michelle's like that too, right? My wife and Michelle's so into racing. When I met her, she was young, into racing with her dad at every race. But her brother, I think he enjoys it or whatever, but not his forte. It's just not what and I think her dad Scott, he was a racer. He worked with Mark Martin as a crew guy, because back then, I mean, just was so, well, nowadays it ain't anything else but just the cost of things and the way they lived. And it was just, tough to keep going. So he then became a crew guy. He was working for Mark Martin and got to see kind of the countryside racing with him on the ASA side. But my wife is 100% racer girl. I'm blessed that I got to marry a racer girl because she gets it. In fact, I tried to quit one time, and she's like, "You tell that little boy that you're done racing. You better get your shit figured out. We're going racing." So that was the speech I got. So we were done talking about ending my career and retiring. So
There was not an option.
yeah, I guess we were. It's neat. So you and your dad, you still carry the passion then? When you guys get together, you still talk racing?
Yeah, I think nowadays it's a little bit different of a role because it used to be that he always was the one in the know. But I think now that I travel to other tracks too, I bring him a different perspective.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of probably cool for him to see that he brought me into the racing world, but it probably also, in the same sense, drives him nuts that I'm so into it. And I know my mom is not. She hates racing, so it drives her
She
nuts that I'm
hates
into it too. But
I
and my
laugh because
dad
you guys
doesn't
are
let me
looking for
forget.
wedding venues. You stopped by here yesterday. Your mom comes here. Was it yesterday?
Monday.
Monday. Yeah, Monday. I don't even know what day
Close
it is
enough.
anymore. And then and you bring her to a shop that's got 6 race cars, something like that. She's probably like, "What are these freaking nutcases doing? Are they all?" We're all on crack, but race car crack. But yeah, no,
The
that's
worst
neat.
things.
So I mean, I know I got the right host for the show, and this is good. And then you bring a different side of it because you obviously bring the fan side on top of your competitive, and I've seen you that way. So this will be a lot of fun. So Erin will be with us from here on out.
Yeah.
We'll hopefully be doing this with the OnlyFans page is done then, right? You're
Yeah, I'm
not going to show your pink toenails on OnlyFans anymore.
No, those days are long gone.
So yeah, next we'll come on up and we'll bring Cameron Goldsworthy on. It'll be fun talking to him, and
Yeah.
you guys will have a treat. He's a true life short tracker, right? This
Yeah.
is what we talk about here on this show is short track racing, and we got a guy that's going to bring a trip. So after these messages from our sponsors, we'll bring a Cameron on, and this will be a good time.
Yeah, I'm excited. Hi, welcome back to the Short Track Racing podcast.
Sounds like we got Cameron on the mic. I think he'll be on with it here with us in a little bit. So we're excited to bring Cameron. Cameron is, we got you, Cameron? This is a
Not
torpedo. So Cameron Goldsworthy, he's from the Panhandle. Actually, I'm not sure what town you're from. Where are you exactly from? Okay, Crestview, which is just... Okay. Yeah. You had 9 inches of snow in November, right? And when was the last time you had that much snow? I drove home from Florida back to Wisconsin, like literally when that was going on, and I'll be honest with you, that was no one in the state of Georgia knows how to drive, or I'll even say North Florida knows how to drive in that, and the whole 4 lanes were blocked up, and my wife was just underneath the dash because I just hit the ditch, put it in 4-wheel drive, and just drove. I'm not kidding you, I drove 25 miles in the frickin' ditch and just got off exits and... Yeah, I had to get home, so... Yeah. Well, I laughed because people were dead stopped, and even the state patrols were stopped, and I drove right by them. Michelle goes, "You're going to get pulled over." I go, "They got to catch us." I'm not even kidding you. It was hilarious. But Cameron, we're gonna... Yeah, no, I was going to say we're going to talk about your career a little bit and what you've done, and I was trying to tell our guests, who you are, and what we want to do is kind of introduce you and what you've done. And it's short track racing, right? This is what we talk about. You're a tire guy. You've worked with a lot of big names, and this will be a lot of fun. But yeah. He's not on. Hold on, Cameron. I guess we don't have you on the podcast for some reason, so they're trying to get the not the video, but so they can hear you. So Erin, we're trying to get Cameron on. So it's me and Erin are sitting here like, hey, we can't hear him, and so we just found out our guests can't hear you either. So we'll start over once we get it up and running. But
So we will be right back.
We pay by the hour. Hold on, we got you here in a little bit. I can hear you, but just hang on. We got the commercial playing right now. But okay, yeah, hey, we're back. Cameron, you got us now? Cameron, can you hear us? We having some technical difficulty. Erin, you can maybe hear on your mic?
I cannot.
You can't hear me at all.
I can hear you.
So I'm going to call him just
Hold on,
directly.
we're going to get him on. So, Erin, what size shoes are you? Wait a minute.
You trying to sell my feet pics?
Erin, you got me?
Hey,
Cameron?
We're having some issues, so I got you up on my phone, okay?
Keep getting some.
Hey, how's it going, man? All right.
Hey, good, Cameron. So we're just gonna start over a little bit. So they heard a little bit.
But I'm very easy at that.
Yeah, go for it. If you would start with like giving us a little bit about your start into racing.
Okay. Well, obviously I was born in.
Good, Cameron. So we're just gonna.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Good deal. All right. Well, I was born in Rochester Hills, Michigan. First things first, my name is Cameron Goldsworthy. I'm from a town called Crestview, Florida. Basically, when I was a kid, I was born in Rochester Hills, Michigan. So my dad was big into drag racing and drag boats and all that kind of stuff. So he also had ties in with the Pontiac Silverdome. So I was around that kind of stuff when monster trucks really got taken off in the early '80s. Well, then after that, it went to the working with just with my dad tinkering on hot rods. Well, then I moved south because the family decided they need to split up a little bit. So I moved down here to the Panhandle, Florida. I've been down here pretty much my whole life. So that's when I retained a babysitter and we built race cars. And we worked and raced and all that kind of stuff. And then just one thing led to another. And then August 3rd, 2002, I had an accident. And I've been around racing since basically I could walk. It had a motor in it. I wanted to mess with it. That was pretty cool. So that's kind of, I guess, the small thing. And so I work on tires for a living. It's really wild. Can you hear me still?
Yes.
Yeah, we got you. No, so
Okay, good.
We were talking earlier, Cameron, and I mean, you got some cool highlights, just a lot of the stuff that you've done. Talk about a little bit some of the people you work with. You're pretty, I call you a tire specialist because just listening to you talk, so many race teams are wanting that, right? There's so much to know in this racing, and everything now is just, you need a tire specialist, you need an engineer, you need a crew chief, you need a car chief, and you were talking about the tires, but I know you worked with some big names. You want to talk a little bit about who you worked with and kind of your highlights of who you worked with?
Yes, I mean, I've worked with, Joey Coulter, Rum Runner Racing. I actually met him. I actually worked with him down at Auburndale, when I first met Grant. And that was pretty cool. Harold Holly. I've worked with Randall Chuck. Randall Chuck was a big part of me getting my memory back in racing, along with Frank Wilson, Chris O'Connor from here at the house. But I've worked with Randall Chuck. I've worked with a little bit. Scott Bloomquist was the last one. That was pretty big. Lane Whittington, he's out of Denham Springs, Louisiana. He's on the Sprint Car Network. We won the Hurricane Sprint Car Association Championship last year. And I've actually, I've been a part of a lot of race teams. It all actually kind of more or less started back in like 2003 after my accident. We more or less, I had a gentleman named Dan Allen. He was like a father to me. It was really, really close to my heart. We went in like 5 championships in 3 years. So a Friday and Saturday night show, we won, and then that was 2 consecutive years. And then the next year after that, we won the race at Flemington Motor Speedway, which is no longer run right now. And then in, let's see here, 2007, I worked with a gentleman named Frank Wilson. He's out of Harold, Florida. He actually is a Renegade race fuel dealer, Any Fuel in Michelle. We won 3 championships in 2007. Southern Raceway, Blackman Motor Speedway, and also the Southeast Region Storm Pay Championship in the crate racing division in dirt late model. Then all of a sudden, it's sped up like probably 10 or 12 years later. His son was running Sportsman, so we started working back together, and we wound up winning 2 championships that year and finishing 3rd in the Sportsman late model division. So it was pretty cool to be part of that family and their success. Because like I always tell people, there's no such thing as one item in team. It's a team that makes, there's 2 that gets it started. That's God and team, and that's a pretty big thing. But I got an opportunity this year or last year, or it started about a year before last, worked with Dalton Cook. He's out of Phoenix City, Alabama. And we were pretty successful in a couple years, and I worked with him. And then, obviously, I worked with Scott Bloomquist, and his last podium finish at Alltech was the last race I actually worked with him. And that was Alltech Speedway in Lake City, Florida. But the gentleman that won it, his name was Joseph Joyner. And his dream, when he told me he was a kid, he said, my dream is to always I want to beat Scott Bloomquist. I want to race with him. Well, lo and behold, we're sitting on the front stretch, and I went up over him while he was doing his interview, and I said, what did you think about that? Yeah. He goes, well, I guess your dream's answered.
Yeah, Joseph,
he goes, man,
it's
not even over yet.
They got a heck of a show. They got that Hunt the Front, and
yeah, Jonathan and Joshua and them, they've actually opened up a dirt late model series too.
Yeah.
And the very first time I worked with those guys and their Hunt the Front deal, it was at the National 100. And the National 100, we're blowing tires left and right. And I told Joseph, I says, it don't matter. I'm putting the wrong tire on your car because I got to go find one. Just keep it from sliding. It was almost like Talladega, Mach 3 rubbered over asphalt. Yeah. And I went over to Willie Polston. He's out of Phoenix City, Alabama. And I went over, I said, Willie, I need to get this tire from you. I don't care how much it costs. I know it's cut the right way because I talk to your tire guy pretty regularly. And I wound up putting that tire on the backstretch. Said, come in here and get this when you get a chance. He wound up winning the race. He didn't have the fastest car, but went down the backstretch going into turn 3. And the second place guy decided to take out the first place guy. That was Parker Martin hitting Jason Hyatt. And both of them didn't finish. And we wound up finishing the race from 3rd to 1st and just turn 3 and 4 to the checkered. So that was pretty cool. And that was a National 100 victory. And I worked with Randall Chupp, and I've worked with, I'm having a glitch. Hold on just a minute. Kevin Rumley and Leroy Rumley. I worked with them when Randall Chupp drove for him. And that's, it's a pretty amazing little world. And Randall told me, he says, if you can ever win at a racetrack here at Phoenix City, which is one of the tracks that changes more than any track in the country, you can do magical things. Well, I didn't really think about it. And then all of a sudden, we won that race, and it wasn't just working with one driver. It was working with so many drivers since that point that has really, been successful. And for some reason, Scott said pretty wild. He says, you know what you are? I said, what's that? You're a walking durometer. I'm like, well, that's exciting to know, Scott. So, we're at St. Elmo's Steakhouse up in Indianapolis. Brown and Miller, they're treating us to dinner. And all of a sudden, Scott said, I told him I'd never wear one of his shirts because it almost killed me. And he goes, well, all right. And he just put that aside. Well, he stood up about 15 minutes later, and he stood up and he goes, hold on. I think that shirt might have saved your life. And I said, well, that's kind of interesting. So I shook his hand, and I said, hey, man, we're getting ready to win some races. And we went to Talladega, didn't do all the best. And then the best run we had was at Alltech. And I tested with Scott that Friday night. We didn't make the show Friday nights, so I was able to get the owner to let us do some testing. In an hour and a half, I probably learned more in an hour and a half of testing than I probably learned in probably 15 years. That man was a very, very calculating person, and it was very interesting. That's pretty much why he was the best. And it was an honor to work with him and have the opportunity.
Yeah, he's very well missed. That's for sure in that world, that race in the dirt world.
Yeah, and I've worked with, Pat Jett hired me to do some stuff down here at Five Flags.
Yeah.
I've worked with some outlaw cars down here. Gary Goodwin, he owns a charter business over in Orange Beach. And, I was doing his tires one year. We wound up finishing third in the Snowball Derby in the outlaw car. And I thought, man, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
He said, I thought the asphalt was to get to the dirt tracks. That's what I always thought. Well, now it doesn't matter. If it's got a tire on it, you can do whatever it takes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I'm a lover of all racing, right? I always said when you raced asphalt your whole life, I thought dirt was for burying dead people until I went to my first dirt race, and I said, man, this is awesome. I'm actually a fan of Volusia. I go there during speed week.
Yeah.
I make it a point to get there a couple times every week. I come down for speed week.
I'm really surprised I haven't run into you over there because, I was there all last year and all this year. I try to make it down there as much as I can. And, I hear lately I've worked with some pretty, Ryan Crane this past weekend, and I was kind of wild. I said, hey, that's cool. I'm going to be on a podcast, and I'm going to have something to talk about. This past weekend, I was a part of two race cars at Southern Raceway, a Sportsman car, 602 crate car, and Ryan Crane, which was running the Southern All-Stars. Well, we qualified both first in both classes, and we also won the race. And Ryan Crane, being the owner of Panama City Cycles, you need any kind of hot rods or anything, motorcycles or whatever, go over to Panama City Cycles in Panama City, talk to Ryan and the boys, they'll take care of you.
Yeah.
And, of course, Ricky Gilmore, he had a flat tire. He said, man, that car got tight all of a sudden. I know he didn't know what it was, so the tire had to be going down. We didn't know about it. So we changed the tire before we went and got his picture.
Much, huh?
And so last night, I'm sitting there, I'm spraying the tire down with some soap, and I said, yeah, you got a puncture hole right there. I said, man, we got a special bleeder. I wonder when he ran it over. But I can't believe he killed my tire that way. Daggone racers, man. They're never nice to the tires. It's always the tire guy's fault if something goes bad. Have you ever heard that? Because that is the punctuation of all sentences and statements of racing.
I always say the crew
chief. You can have all the engineers doing all their stuff.
The crew chief blames
but that tire's not right.
The crew chief blames the driver, and the driver blames the crew chief, and I said it's always the tire guy's problem.
That's triangle effect. That is the triangle effect. Crew chief, driver, tire guy. Draw the line on the bottom, and that's the strongest pyramid you'll ever see in your life.
Yeah.
You get those three right, man, it's a game-on situation. But, it's like I always said, nothing is such thing as one individual on a race team that make things right. There's so many people that are involved in all racing. And, I like it when drivers say, I appreciate everybody around me, instead of some of them that actually just take it, oh, I did this, I did that. Well, it's not a cool deal. But, hey, everybody's got their own opinion. I know I got lots of them, and I do what I can to kind of put a governor on it, but sometimes it doesn't help very much.
Well, nowadays, right, Erin, the people that it takes to do this sport. We talk about it all the time. And then having Cameron on, people to see that side of it. Like I said, let's talk short track racing. This is what we do. This is,
yep.
Like bringing you on and telling. Like I said, I laugh because when me and Erin were talking to you pre-show a little bit, I'm like, man, we probably need a whole episode just each month having you come on because, like I said, it's a story, right? And I always tell you, it's the people that are unseen that to make this stuff go around and. Just talking to people that you worked with, and people depend on that, right? You go have the greatest race.
Well, racing started in somebody's front yard just as a joke at the schoolyard.
Yeah.
It wasn't on TV. Racing really never got documented, I don't think, until some guy or kid said, yeah, this is pretty cool. He raced me on foot. Let's go ahead and make the Olympics out of it. That was a later date.
Yeah.
I tell you what, man, the racing community is so huge. And, if you don't mind me, I'll get into my accident and tell you a little bit about that happened in 2002.
Yeah,
and telling the racing community being as big as it is.
After this commercial break, we'll run in and talk about your accident. I want people to know what you went through, what you've seen, the things that you've done to get you where you're at today. So.
Yep. There's been, like I said, man, there's been so many people that's helped me get to where I am. And obviously, to where you have gotten in your time, obviously, you've got a whole, man, you got a huge history, too. I could just imagine if we ever got on the phone, we'd probably talk until the sun comes up 2 days in a row. Me and Scott would get on the phone sometimes. We wouldn't get off the phone. And I'd tell him, I said, man, what is it like when you sleepwalk? I'll be on the phone. got a good friend of mine, Matthew Wolf. He builds a lot of these, these tire gauges and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's all, we'll get on a telephone. We'll talk about all kinds of stuff. The only thing we don't talk about is what was for dinner, because then I get hungry and I'll go get in there and gain some weight.
Yeah. Well, hey, we're
So
going
we
to go to break here real quick, Cameron. But after this break, we're going to we want to talk to Cameron. He had a serious accident in his life that changed his life, and I want listeners to know your story. And so after these messages, we'll get right back to Cameron.
The Thormeyer Family Christmas to Remember returns to Cindy Road in Lakeland on Fridays through Sundays, November 29th to December 22nd. Explore the stunning walk-through trees and light displays, enjoy beloved Christmas movies, and indulge in delicious festival foods. Meet the Grinch on Fridays and Santa on Saturdays, and pick out your freshly cut Christmas trees from a large variety. A Thormeyer Family Christmas.
All right, and we are back with Cameron Goldsworthy. He's going to go ahead and dive a little bit deeper into his career-changing accident back in 2002. Cameron, if you would, go ahead. There we go.
All right, well, like I said, I'm going to tell this story, but I don't want this story to act like I'm any different than anybody else. I'm not trying to make it sound like I'm any better than anybody else. August 3rd, 2002, I was struck in the head by a race car tire at Southern Raceway. A tire head came off a car, and the tire was doing about 100 miles an hour when it went up over a fence, hitting me in the head. They, if it wasn't for Jeff Smith, he wouldn't be talking to me right now. He was racing that day, and he took charge. They loaded me in a helicopter. They life-flighted me from the racetrack to West Florida Hospital in Pensacola. I didn't have a heartbeat for 4.5 minutes in life flight. They stuck me in a drug-induced coma for 8 days in the hospital over a month. And I lost my memory for a couple years, and I really had to rebuild my memory of my friends and just basically, but the racing community came together and really helped me out, especially the Cajun Sprint Car Series. You know, Charles and Lisa Graves, who out of Denham Springs, Louisiana, along with Lane Whittington and his family at Tim's Engines over in Denham Springs. Just a lot of people came and gave us donations, and, helped my wife and everything, because I was in the hospital for over a month. And I couldn't drive for about a year. And it was a very eye-opening situation, but one of my biggest things that I try to focus on is safety. And I never want anybody to think that my accident is trying to make it sound like I'm trying to make it sound like anybody, I'm better than they are. Everybody's had accidents, and, I don't know what they've been through. And some people can talk to me and think that, hey, there's no way. But it took a long time to get to where I am. and it was never given up. And I got back into racing actually in 2003. I didn't drive 2003. I started hot lapping in 2004 to where I could start trying to figure out if I could do it again. And I was actually pretty good, and that's thanks to Dan Allen. He's out of Crestview, Florida, right here, Baker, Florida. And, he was right by my side. Frank Wilson, his family, Chris O'Connor. I mean, he's the closest thing I got to family as far as, brotherly love. He and I have a car together, which we are planning on trying to race here, hopefully here soon one day. And, it's a very heartfelt, emotional thing when I talk about people that are part of my life now, because they've never given up on me. And I have never been able to do this by myself, and I know I could never do it by myself. But God obviously didn't say I was done, and for some reason, I needed to go back to work in racing and work on tires. Well, I went back and raced. My last race was in 2008, and I actually won the race. I was driving a car that I put together for a guy named Philip Lambeth in Fulton, Alabama, and then he sold it to a guy named Shannon Steele. Well, I get this phone call to go race this thing. Well, I worked on it for a week. I led every lap of the heat race and every lap of the feature. Well, I called my wife when I was on the front stretch, and I said, "Hey, baby." She goes, "You better not be at the hospital." I said, "I'm not at the hospital." "What's all that noise?" I said, "Well, did you win?" I said, "Yes, I did." She goes, "Good, you're done driving." And I couldn't remember that's what the promise you made. So I called 5 people, including Randall Chuck, Danny Myers, Harold Holly, Charles Graves, and then, of course, Frank Wilson topped it off in tech and told me that's what you told me. So I haven't drove since. But we do have cars, and I have been around it my whole life. So I've gotten into figuring out how to work on tires and put myself in the cockpit of what they're kind of feeling off of what the tires are telling me. So I guess you could, I don't know, it just makes me feel like I'm a part of the team. In tires, I've always remembered the days when Bernhardt was leading Daytona and a tire was going down, or a tire blew out, or something like that. The tire is the end of the punctuation of the actual statement. And it takes engineers, it takes everybody to get to that point. With that air pressure and that little bit of tire stagger, too much tire stagger can be kryptonite. So it can be positive or kryptonite. But I just, I'm very appreciative of everybody allowing me to do what I do. I'm very thankful for everybody to be a part of my life. I mean, I've had so many people reach out. Joey Coulter, when me and Chris O'Connor revealed a card that had 2,750 photos on it of everybody that was a part of my accident. Everybody that was a part of my life to help me get where I am now. Thanks to Jason Hyatt and Freestyle Graphics, he actually built this wrap. It looked like a bunch of pictures stacked. They looked like graffiti, but they had photos on it. And Joey Coulter came over from South Florida, or he was living in North Carolina. No, he was living in Texas at that time, and came over just to be a part of that. And that meant a lot to him. Harold Holly, he has taught me so much and never turns away a phone call. Randall Chuck, Randall has always told me, he says, "Cameron, tires." I used to do tires for Randall, and if anybody's ever done tires for Randall Chuck, boy, it's definitely an experience. Just get you some, because it'll teach you a lot. But I've had a lot of people that's been a really big part of my life, and one of my biggest things that I focus on is safety. We all got to go home. We all got to make sure, FK Rod ends Maria. We do a lot of stuff together. She is a massive, really big supporter of teams that I work with. Earnhardt Technologies, Gorshik's Performance, Stop Tech Brakes. There is a lot of Shane Clanton. He's been a very big inspiration to me. We've worked together twice, a total of 3 races, and we've won 2 of them. He's drove 1, and then Ryan Cranes drove 1. So it's been very big experience
of your accident. One thing me and you were talking about is the importance of people, right? The importance of people in your life. And you told me this story about meeting Grant and how you met Grant. And I laughed because I started laughing because the story you told me how you met Grant actually made me.
Oh, yeah, about the lug nuts.
Yeah, you got to tell that story.
So all of a sudden, I go in there and I say, "Hey, man, we got a problem." He goes, "What? We ain't got no lug nuts in that big old trailer over there." And he's got a feather. I mean, it's like a 53-footer stuffed in a 32-foot trailer. He's got stuff hanging from the ceiling. He's got this pit boxes organized. I mean, there's millimeters of space in there. How the hell did you get so much stuff in there, Grant? He said, what do you need? He said, lug nuts. So I'm thinking, all right, he's just going to grab a lug nut out of this little bundle, right? No, he pulls this drawer open. It's got lug nuts, got titanium, it's got billet, got aluminum, got steel. You need fine course, you know. You need, what did you need? You want them yellow? You need the black one with the yellow stripe on it. Oh, we even got a black lug nut with a white stripe on it. I said, hey, dude, just give me that one, right? What do you think?
I can't even tell you how funny that is, because when I came down here, Cameron, the first thing I said is when I went in that trailer, I said, holy shit, we got more parts in this trailer than Race Car Engineering has on their shelves in this trailer.
Damn right they do. You know, I told him, I says, man, I tell you, I said, I got another question. You got any receivers in here? And I wouldn't doubt it if you probably had 20 of those in there. That's one thing about Grant. He's prepared. So then all of a sudden he was talking about, you know, you guys putting some teams together and wanting me to be a small part of it. And I said, hey, man, that would be pretty cool. I don't know if you're going to be organized enough. And I wasn't exaggerating. And I was like, man, you're probably one of the most organized, you know. And Harold Holly is one of those types where he's got stuff in containers, you know, labeled, you know. Oh, well, I need this right here. He'll go and dig for whatever. And then, well, I'll tell you a small story. I was up at Scott Bloomquist's shop. It was when they had that big blizzard that came through Tennessee and shut it down. Well, I'm up there at the shop, and, of course, we're riding around on his property, and I'm in the car, and he gets like, come on, let's get out of the truck. Let's go in here. He goes into the original shop where he built his first car. And all of a sudden, he goes digging around. He's showing me all this stuff. I mean, he's got brand new stuff that's not even being used, which is impressive. Well, he goes over here to this corner, and he goes way to the far corner of the shop, and he goes digging around. He said, you see this? I said, yeah. You know what that is? I said, Scott, I'm dumb, but I'm not that dumb. That's a spindle. He goes, Cameron, this is what everybody's running right now. And that was one of those sweet spindles that him and old Sweet built in Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Yep.
And I was like, holy cow. It had the short arm. It's like the Port City stuff. It had, you know, steer acronym and all that stuff built into it. Real short, quick steering, you know, spindles. And I said, that's pretty impressive. So, I mean, it was an experience I would have never thought I would have ever got the opportunity. You know, Scott called me twice, and I hung up on him. So I thought somebody was playing a joke on me. I said, he called me on the phone. He said, who is this? He said, well, this is Cameron Goldsworthy. Who is this? He goes, this is Scott Bloomquist. Well, that clicked. I thought somebody was trying to mess around with me. So Devin Jones called me. And that deal probably would have never happened if it wasn't for Devin. You know, Devin, we raced together and stuff like that. We were more rivals than anything else. But he said, you hang up on Scott? I said, I hung up on somebody that said he was Scott. Oh, dude, that was Scott. You need to call him back. I gave him your number. I'm like, whatever. Have him call me back. He knows the number now. Man, we got on the phone, and we talked for probably 3 or 4 hours. I looked like a blind guy pacing in my driveway when the sun came up the next morning. And I couldn't believe it. I said, man, I can't believe it. I said, Scott, I can't believe I'm talking to you on the phone. He said, why? I said, because, man, you're an enemy of mine. So all of a sudden, you know, the next time I talked to him was at the Beau Rivage Casino in Biloxi. We raced. I worked with Dalton Cook on a Friday night. We wound up setting third fast time and winning the race. And his dad goes, you're going to go talk to Scott tomorrow? I said, man, I really don't know. I'll know when I wake up in the morning. At 5 o'clock, I woke up in the morning. I had enough energy. I felt like I had to run the Boston Marathon. So I said, well, looks like I'm going to Biloxi. Went to Biloxi. We got up there, and, of course, he's in the penthouse. And, you know, we probably talked for 3 or 4 hours. And then I said, dude, I want to sit here and talk a lot longer. But I got to go to the racetrack. So we wound up going back to the racetrack, and I think we wound up finishing second that night. And it just started from on. You know, every time he called, we would chit-chat for a while. And, you know, when we went up there, he opened his whole house and stuff up to me and Devin, and it was an emotional thing. And him showing me some of the stuff that he does, you know. Yeah. When they're checking sidewalls of load, he's already doing this. Yeah. He's been doing that for years. Yeah. But it was an amazing archive to stick in my chapter of being able to be a part of it. And, of course, you know, working with Randall Chubb, and I've always had good people part of my life. And I've always stayed connected with the ones that have always got me to where I am. And it's been a blessing. And, man, when Grant offered me to be a part of the show, I couldn't believe it. I said, man, Cameron Goldsworthy, that's funny. And I was like, that's pretty cool. I said, Grant, you know what you're getting into? She said, yeah, man, we're getting ready to talk about lug nuts. I said, ain't that the truth? Make sure you got them on there. If you ever see me running for the pit area, you better look up and make sure there ain't a tire flying. What I tell people. You know, because Scott called me a walking durometer. I thought that was pretty hilarious. And just so happens my nickname is Mr. Hoosier. So when I was at Auburndale, they were running American Racers. And so I go over to Harold, and I'm like, man, I got my Hoosier shirt on. I'm walking in this trailer, and all they got is American Racers. He said, what do you want me to do about it? I said, I don't know. I got to rename myself. I guess I'm an American-made tire guy. He said, that's a good one, Cameron. Get back into the shed. You're not done yet. So, I mean, I'm assuming that you're a part of Auburndale Speedway. Is that true?
Well, what I do is, I mean, we race over there. I'm not a part of that at all.
Right.
But
I'm having trouble with names right now. I'm having brain farts.
Yeah, no. I with
Aaron,
we race over at Auburndale on the American.
Yes.
I like American. Working. Erin is part of the.
New Smyrna Speedway is where I grew up.
Okay, New Smyrna. Okay.
Yes.
Well, New Smyrna, I was there 2 years. You know, the year that Jet Motorsports won the race, I think it was 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
I think it was Caden Honeycutt, maybe.
Yeah. Was it the Governor's Cup?
Yeah. It may have been. It was the Friday or Thursday or Friday show.
Okay.
And so I'm sitting there with Greg James in the infield, and he's pacing. I'm like, man, Greg, calm down. He said, no, dude, we ain't done yet. I said, man, you got a 2-second lead. He said, you're good. Man, I don't know. I said, calm down, Greg. I got a good feeling about this. What the heck do you know? I said, I don't know anything about this asphalt stuff. You're the asphalt doctor. I'm not. So, and all of a sudden, he wound up winning. He shook my hand. He said, good job, Cameron. I said, I didn't do nothing. He said, well, you kept me positive because I was pissed. He was looking for something to happen. So I was like, man, that is probably one of the awesomest tracks I've ever been to. Of course, I've been to Riverhead Speedway in New York. And then the Irwindale, the one they just shut down over in California, I did a deal with a young man that works for Culture Racing, Evan Garvey, Gainey, I think is his name. Garvey. Really good kid.
Yeah.
He's got some.
Yeah, Mike
Garvey, yes. No, not Mike. Evan.
Oh.
He's a pretty young kid. He works up there with Harold Holly at Rum Runner Racing. He's out of California.
Okay. Yeah.
It's the only racetrack in my life I've ever seen them start a race going, double file, and all of a sudden they fan out 10 wide, and I'm like, golly, I love this place already, and I ain't been there yet.
And it don't matter on that track. You could be 5 wide.
Yeah.
So one of the questions,
and now
one of our viewers reached out and asked us, how about the car number 13 in the full moon? I'm supposed to ask you that.
Oh, okay, I see what well, it wasn't the car number. It was Friday the 13th. It was, I think it was in 2006 or something like that. We're at Northwest Florida Speedway, which is right here by the house. And I took the white flag, and I was in 4th place. And, full moon, Friday the 13th, so all your bad juju is in the air.
Oh, yeah.
So, next thing you know, go into turn 1, I see the old leader Calvin Cook, he's checked out. He's way on out there. So all of a sudden I see these little particles of flame coming off, we got a transmission line going bad. Well, he started burning down, started fire in turn 1, burnt down in turn 3, and then you had Adam Ellison and Brandon Harris decided to do the WKA fight or WCW fight in turn 1 and 2, and I'm like, this is cool. I'm going to be in the lead because they're going to get those two off the racetrack. He burnt down. And that was my first race that I won when I came back to racing. And I was like, that was pretty cool. And I'm like, man, right? And I had a fortune cookie that says something on 4 wheels will be a good investment for you in the future. And I still got it, and I carry it in my wallet every day.
So Friday the 13th is a good day for you.
And full moons are good luck.
Hey, it's kind of wild. Yes, because, every August 3rd, if it falls on a Saturday, we're going to have good luck, unless, like me and Chris, it's funny because Friday the 13th, it was August 3rd, 16 years, so it was 2018, we revealed this car that Joey Culture flew in to reveal and stuff at Tri-County Speedway. So we did a big deal, and all of a sudden we pull out of the driveway. First things first, we had a power steer leak. That was terrible. Got it on the trailer. So we drive down the road, and I said, man, boy, I tell you what, I hope I got the tires right. Well, it started when we got to the first red light. We blew out a trailer tire. Got to the next, getting ready to turn into the gas station, blew another one. I'm like, man, I thought these were brand new. Yeah, he said, Cameron, you still want to do this deal? I said, man, I ain't got no choice now. I mean, we got people that's flown in for this thing. So, yeah, we got all kinds. So we wound up blowing 3 tires on the trailer to get to the racetrack. And I said, man,
done that.
I don't know if it's bad, some kind of bad idea right here, but we got to pull over before we get to the racetrack because I'm going to put a car cover over this because I don't want anybody to see it. They'll reveal it. Because I had to send you some pictures of it. It was a pretty emotional thing. And we get there, and of course, Chris all pumped up. We got a good car and all that stuff. We brought my buddy Andy Picklesheimer down here from Tennessee. He winds up setting the track record and just about laughing us. But the unfortunate part about my buddy Chris, we wound up getting a flat tire because I think he looped it or spun out. I don't know, got tangled up with something. And I said, well, it is what it is. It could have been a whole lot worse. Of course, I'm on cloud 9. I have, I'm so happy to be a part of still doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter what happened that night. So many people came together. I had people come over from Louisiana, people drive from all over the United States to be a part of that. And I can't thank everybody enough to just thank you for letting me do what I do and to give me the prayers to keep me going, and I mean, it's, and then of course, Grant calling me up to do this thing. I'm like, holy cow, this is so awesome, man. It's definitely, sometimes I wonder being a tire guy, if it's a curse or a privilege, and it is a privilege. It's not a curse no more. I'm done getting hit by tires. But you do see Cameron running in the pit area. You better get out of the way.
When it's raining, you don't have to worry about the lightning. When it's racing, you don't have to worry about the tires. You're
man, I don't know, man. I'm not going to go running around with a lightning rod. Because then, I'm not going to just, no. Yeah, that's kind of scary.
Yeah, I was actually
Only somebody from Wisconsin to tell you that.
I said, honestly, I was at a race where a woman got struck by lightning. I'm not even kidding you.
Oh, my God. What'd you say?
I think Bill Sleeper from Pro Power is from Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Pro Power, yeah. Me and him, when we was up at the Dome race, we sat down there at the bar talking all kind of, man, he's a character now.
Oh, yeah.
He is something. He is funny. And we had a lot of stuff to talk about. And then, of course, he got to talking about Bill, his brother raced. And, of course, Danny Myers, he worked with Scott Bloomquist for about 8 years.
Yep.
And it's amazing how the people that are still kind of a part of my life and the people that I talk about and, the people that have a lot of respect for, I feel like, for me, are people that have, never pushed me, never steered me really the wrong way. Now, granted, I may not be as, close to them as what I was at one time, but I'm always going to feel appreciative of what everybody's done for me to get to where I am, because I have not done this on my own.
Yeah.
Heck, we wouldn't have been racing that night if we didn't have a lug nut. Thank God Grant bailed us out.
I guarantee you.
And I went over there and I went and asked Harold. I says, "Hey, you needed a lug nut, right?" Yeah. I said, "Man, that guy's got a whole truck. He's going to put new ones on all the cars out here."
The truck.
He said, "How many does he have?" I said, "Man,
and I guarantee it's still that way."
I'll tell you right now, and of course, I'm wanting to try to do something, safety. I'm a big guy. I love the guys at Hooker Harness. I've been a really good partner with them for a very long time. And younger kids and drivers down here, I get certain rates and deals. I actually put it into where I don't make anything off of it. I just want them to be safe. Yeah. And Hooker Harness has that deal where all of a sudden you get your belts outdated. You send it back to them. For $100, you can have it back in your possession. The belts be brand new, ready to be certified. That's big.
Yeah, Hooker Harness does a good job on. We got Hooker Harnesses up north on our cars up north, but they do a great job. And then they, you just send them back and they replace everything. So.
Yeah, and I mean, if say for instance you have it like I got mine redone a couple years ago and they ain't even raced it yet. Send it back to them before we race the car again because they need to be the date needs to be changed. I don't even know if the weather needs to be changed, but the date does.
They go through
But,
quite a testing
man,
Yeah.
process. They do. when
Yeah.
they-
yeah.
Several of the
Yeah, they go
series
through
at the
test
beginning of the year.
process.
Well, Cameron,
speak
man,
about,
it's,
Monster. Well, go ahead.
yeah, I
I
was going
got
to say,
one more thing to talk. Go ahead.
yeah, go ahead. It's been awesome having you on.
Well,
but yeah, just
man, I really appreciate it.
we're running out of time
Back,
here. So.
there was. Oh, I'm sorry about
No,
that.
oh,
Man, I
no,
need to
no,
figure out how much I need to put you guys on the payroll so I can go ahead and pay for an extra hour. If I need.
I said we got to bring you in here
Because
live
I knew
sometime
when I
on a
clocked
Wednesday.
into this thing, it was going to take a while.
We gotta bring you in live. I think on a Wednesday sometime. That'd be a good
Oh,
time.
Man, that would be absolutely awesome. One of the biggest things I do want to say is, Eddie Smith, he used to drive Bigfoot. Bob Chandler and my uncle that used to work at the Pontiac Silverdome, he was a promoter and the announcer. They're the ones that put on the first monster truck show in the 80s at the Pontiac Silverdome. And Eddie Smith, lo and behold, has moved to Navarre, Florida, which is about 45 minutes from me. Out of the blue, he reaches out to me. I reach out to him. We became like damn near family. And I just, wanted to say a big thank you on that. And just, there's so many people that think, and I got a ton of people that's helped me on the race car and stuff that we have here at the shop, but people that has retained, relationships with me and it really just helped me get to where I am, and I love for this to be like every week. I don't know how I could be, I'll be able to make something happen. That'd be cool. Yeah. Maybe I could do a live podcast down there. I could be on the Gulf of Mexico or Gulf of America, excuse me. I could be sitting down here in Gulf America on the beach.
America, that's right.
At the crab trap. Man, that would be good. Because usually I take my tires down there to the beach because I actually took a set down there last week that we raced this weekend. We set fast time and won Saturday, so that wasn't a bad deal.
No.
We were going to do a
you spoil your tires.
At the honky tonk.
Yeah.
What are we doing at the honky tonk?
I said we were at the honky tonk.
I heard honky tonk
6 days straight.
That we were.
Oh, I'm telling you, just don't ask me to do no karaoke. I guarantee that'd be a bad situation.
Oh,
They'll straight kick you off the air for that.
My wife was doing karaoke, and she's an introvert. I can't believe, I don't know what was in them drinks to get her up there, but
She was line dancing and everything.
she was doing it. I was proud of her.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, that picture you guys have on the screen right here with me cutting that tire, on the other side of that, no, that was when I was doing tires for Mark Whitener. I did tires for Mark Whitener at Altec. We wound up winning that night. And then the next night, I asked him, I said, Mark, you need me to do your tires for Saturday? He said, no, I think we got it. Well, I went to work for Brandon Overton and Cody Overton. We wound up beating Mark. And I was like, man, what happened? Well, we cut the tires like you did. I said, well, there's some hidden secrets and stuff in there, but if next time, just let me help you out. He started on the front row, and I really felt bad when he went to the back. But he's won a whole lot of races. It's not anything I did. I just think it was just a bad deal.
That's awesome.
But
That's awesome.
I really appreciate you guys. I'm very, very thank you. Also, this last year, my driver I was working really close with, James Gilmore. We wound up winning 2 championships, one at Deep South Speedway in Loxley, Alabama, and one at Southern Raceway. And his brother, all he had to do was just show up one night, he would have won the championship, but he finished second, running 3 less races than he needed to that they ran, and he finished second in the Sportsman Championship.
Yeah.
And, of course, I've got a lot of people all across the country that I've worked with, and, man, it's I got Spencer Moore. He's a young man out of Tennessee. Chris Hayes, he's out of Mississippi. And, man, we've had a lot of success, a lot of people that's reached out to me, and I've been very blessed to be a part of the program. And I just want to tell every one of them thank you. I want to thank you guys. This is a relationship right here. I hope like crazy is going to be locked into like a family tree because this is the way I do things.
Well, this is
you guys. I need to get your addresses because you guys are now on the Christmas card list. So I gotta.
We're getting.
That's going to be like. Oh yeah, I'm a Christmas card giver. And my grandmother had a jewelry store. She used to give away a box of chocolates. She used to like the chocolate covered cherries.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
And I was like, well, I don't know. Oh man, I'll tell you right now. That's what, helped me with girlfriends in school. Grandma having a jewelry store. Come on, let's go check out and see what she's got. And they'll give her a box of chocolates. Everything's great. But the main person I want to thank overall is my wife, Carol Goldsworthy. I got 2 boys, Tyler and Connor. I want to thank them so much. My mom, Tori Forsyth, and, just there has never been I would not be where I am talking to you right now if it was not for the people that I have in my family and in my circle. There are so many people that's helped me out. I just want to say thank you. I'm very, very thankful, Pastor Josh. There's just so many people that has helped me get to where I am.
Yeah.
And every now I get some of these certain feelings, and you understand how that is sometimes.
yeah.
When, you're like, why am I feeling that? But
Yeah.
guys, it's been a blessing, and I sure do appreciate it.
You bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're doing this tomorrow too.
This is a great show. Hey, we're running out of time though, but
We're doing it tomorrow, right?
we do. What do you say?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow? You coming up tomorrow? We're
That's
gonna do
tomorrow.
a podcast tomorrow. We'll meet you at the
Hey,
honky tonk.
I need to figure. Hey, I'll call in sick to my boss, which he works for me, so I guess I could actually, I could probably get a kitchen pass. I need to make a trip down south. Wife's wanting to do something down south, and I was like, well, I guess we're gonna have to go for sure because I got to go by and check on Elvis.
That's right. Elvis is here
Yes.
in this building, guaranteed.
I guarantee it. If not, every other thing he owned is in that building. Yeah, he's got.
The worst thing was I ordered 25 lug nuts today. I'm not even kidding you.
Those
Hey, I'm
were
gonna tell
needed.
you right. I want to know how many lug nuts. Have you ever counted lug nuts?
We got more lug
How
nuts
many
here,
lug
and I ordered
nuts are in that
25
shop?
of them today, but
They weren't the right color.
they weren't the right
Man,
color. I had to get.
It happens all the time. But it's been an absolute honor. I sure do appreciate this, guys. And man,
We will have you back
I
on,
guess
Cameron.
now
I
looks like I'm gonna
guarantee
be
you
doing
we'll
more
have you back
asphalt
on.
stuff.
So
Yes.
I guess I'm gonna have to do some more asphalt stuff.
Yeah.
right here in this shop, we
Yeah,
got plenty of cars
come on.
going to the asphalt track.
Hey, I'm game, man. I really am. So I really appreciate you guys. Like I said, I thank everybody out there that's helped me get to where I am. And God bless y'all. Safe travels. And just make sure you're safe in the car. If you're tight in the belts, your belts are tight, you're going to feel the car more.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for coming on, Cameron. We appreciate it, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Sounds like a plan. Talk to y'all later on. God bless y'all. Thank you.
You bet.
Bye.
You know for sure, Erin, that guy's got stories, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think he'd be fun to bring in live.
I think so
For sure.
too. And we got a great glimpse into a lot of his career, but you can tell there's still so much to uncover.
Well, and I always say it's when you look, we talk short track racing, right? That's what we talk about, and he's a prime example of short track racing. Like these are the guys, right? I think of my team. You think of your team.
Yeah.
You think of like the characters that go racing.
Yeah.
Right. He's the character, and we have characters like that, and he gets to tell their stories.
Yeah.
I laugh because we, like a lot of, like what we've done and all the different characters I've seen come through. I mean, I have crew guys that are working for NASCAR teams, and then you still have the characters, but there's so many stories in it. I got a lot of friends that are short trackers, everything from sportsmen to late models to hobby stock, throughout the whole thing. I would just love to have on like Cameron's story, right?
Yeah.
Just them type guys, and he'd be fun to take to the honky tonk.
Yes, he would.
He would fit right in, I think.
Just like the rest of us, right? We all enjoyed it.
We did. That was a good time. I think Grant enjoyed it the most.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah. He's good at finding these places where there's not much to do. He does find the most entertaining places.
And then we have the most
we're never
entertaining
bored.
people that he rounds up.
Yes.
And that's all I'm going to say.
It was a fun time. It was a fun weekend when we were in Alabama, and we're ready for the next.
We always say this, right,
adventure.
Grant? We always say it's not about the race, it's about the adventure, right? And I
Yeah.
said,
And the stories.
just like Cameron, the stories that we get to tell, and I feel blessed because I get to do it with my family. And one day, he'll be married and have children, and you never want him to. This is the family. This is what you want.
Yeah.
You want this sort of thing. Well, hey, we're going to wrap it up. Erin, awesome doing this with you, kiddo.
Yeah.
This is going to be a good time. I want to thank our sponsors, Joe's Racing. We got 5 Star Bodies and Bassett Wheels. And until next week, let's talk short track.
The Thormeyer Family Christmas to Remember returns to Cindy Road in Lakeland on Fridays through Sundays, November 29th to December 22nd. Explore the stunning walk-through trees and light displays, enjoy beloved Christmas movies, and indulge in delicious festival foods. Meet the Grinch on Fridays and Santa on Saturdays, and pick out your freshly cut Christmas trees from a large variety. A Thormeyer family Christmas.